Hello, Freedom Nation. It's Jeff here once again with another episode of the Freedom Nation podcast. And on today's show, I've got Michael Dodson. Now, Michael is the CEO of a new software slash platform online in the entertainment space. And he really identified a problem. And for those of us that have had to deal with Ticketmaster and anything where there's a huge amount of fans going any place, we know that can be a really horrible experience. And Michael's figured out a solution to that. So he's going to share a little bit about that with us. So stay tuned. We'll be right back in just 1 second.
All in you. Everything you're looking for, it's all in you. You gotta believe that it's all in you. Everything you're searching for, it's all in.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the show. Michael, how are you, sir?
I'm great. It's great to be here.
Glad to have you on. I'm looking forward to telling your story a little bit. So why don't we get kicked off? Tell us a little bit about how you got to where you're at today.
So for me, through Fanfare, this is a story of frustration as a customer and as someone who's worked on the other side of that fence, on the vendor side. These kind of highly anticipated events, you mentioned Ticketmaster, like we all have our own loathing for Ticketmaster. And part of that, I think, comes from the consumer experience where you're sat waiting for those things that you've been kind of lusting after for months. Like Oasis is going on sale and you need to get these tickets, and you're greeted with a queue where you're sat for 6-7 hours, multiple tabs open, bots coming in, scooping up inventory before you get a chance. You see everything disappear onto the secondary market. The site falls over. Like all of these catastrophic things happens all at once. And it just leaves the consumer feeling like why are we still doing this? Like, how is this an efficient way to treat your most loyal fans? You know, you're causing problems to Oasis. You're causing problems to the consumers. And on the other side of that fence, like TM is really, fires are happening on the other side of that. So Fanfare was really going after that problem of highly anticipated events and providing infrastructure so if people can run these fairly, they can avoid all of these headaches where things fall over. You know, whether it's live event ticketing or a Switch 2 going on sale or an Apple iPhone coming out, like all of these have bad consumer experiences around them. And this feeling of why are we still doing this? There is a better way.
All these years that we've been developing all this and we have all this high technology and we still have one of the worst experiences ever.
Yeah, absolutely. I've season tickets for Disney, like a well-resourced company like Disney. There is a big banner when they go on sale that says, you know, this may take longer than 24 hours. Please stay in line. You're like, don't close your browser. Don't step away. What do you mean? I'm spending thousands of
$multi-billion company.
How is there not something, a remedy to this? So that's Fanfare. We're coming in as a remedy to these problems.
Excellent. So tell us a little bit about your background. So how did, you're the founder of this company, but you didn't just fall out of the womb as a founder. How did you get to where you're at today?
Yeah, so this is my first time founding a company.
Congrats.
My background is thank you, as a software engineer. So you can hear from the accent, I'm not from around these parts. I started life playing on my older brother's Commodore 64 and noodling on those in the 80s. And that put me on a path to software development and found myself through the acquisition of a small company in 2006. This company I worked for called Coral was scooped up by Salesforce. Found myself in San Francisco.
Well. It was a fantastic piece of software too.
So we built up from nothing and were scooped up by Salesforce, and then just spent some great years at Salesforce with incredible people building software to scale to hundreds of thousands, millions of people on day one when you roll things out and the kind of rigor that has to go around that. And after building up my chops there, I decided to move on to more of the consumer space. A company called Optimizely, which does A/B testing. interesting issues of scale, like a medium-sized company, I would say, from kind of the giant Salesforce background. And then someone from my background came up to San Francisco to talk me through this company Rival that they were founding. And this was something in the live event space, going after the likes of Ticketmaster.
Okay.
And it felt like this kind of opportunity to learn from the very beginning again.
Yeah.
And to start a greenfield project and to build something from nothing, to build a team from nothing, jumped on board. And then fast forward to the start of the pandemic, we were scooped up by Ticketmaster at the start of the pandemic. So kind of did this full circle, this kind of Goldilocks tour of company sizes, and felt like I'm a startup person.
Yeah.
I really like the process of building something from nothing. That kind of uncertainty where you reach for something and you realize it's not there, and having to think about what this should be, what should this process be, what should the team be, like all of those things are things you have to think about, and you have kind of autonomy to fix and build and craft.
Yeah.
So that's where I landed. And, at Ticketmaster, I felt like some of that autonomy was lost. I felt like the product was not moving
You went to the
in the
evil
direction
empire.
that
What
I
are you
would hope
talking
it would
about?
be. Exactly. So decided to, this problem needed solving, and like I've built up my chops. I feel like I'm ready. I'm not gonna. Nothing is gonna teach me more quickly the things that I am missing than going alone and doing this thing for myself.
Yeah.
So that's what I did.
I love it. I love it. Now let's talk a little bit about Fanfare and how it works. So explain where it sits kind of in the customer experience then.
So we sit in front of the checkout flow.
Okay.
So if you imagine you have your own store page, or maybe you have your own launch landing page, and you want to create an experience that launches at a particular time with a certain group of people, with access codes and, stripping out bots and bad actors, you would put Fanfare in front of that experience.
Okay.
You configure everything through Fanfare. So when is this going on sale? When can people access? How many people can access? And then we manage that whole process for you.
Nice.
So you can just hit play on Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and not have to think about all of the chaotic things that we're processing on the back end of it.
Now with that, I mean, I'm assuming it can almost be like a choke hold a little bit, where it chokes down, just overwhelming amounts of people coming in, where you're really giving access to your biggest fans and treating them as best as possible, as my take on this.
Yeah, I mean, it's not uncommon for a sneaker drop to have hundreds of thousands of people come in every few weeks for a sneaker drop, and the same thing happens almost every time. The site falls over, bots come in, bad actors come in and kind of spoil the day. And when you create that anticipation around a launch, when you get people excited for a launch and you fall over, it's not like you just fell over on a Tuesday. Like it was the worst possible time for you to have that event. And then you see the souring,
the worst
the
possible
kind of poisoning
time
of the well.
the worst possible time with your best possible customers.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. And also the data aspect around it too. We see that, if you sell 50 of a thing and 100,000 people show up, the brand tends to know quite a lot of information about those 50 people who converted. But everyone else is kind of off in the wind, and they don't really do anything or know anything about those people. So for us, like, those people are potential VIPs. They're just unlucky people.
Yeah.
And if you keep coming back and you keep trying with the brand, you should reward those people. Like, these are people who are disappointed, not because of anything they did. They're just unlucky, and they keep coming
just
back.
Got there late, or they just couldn't get through the little chokehold on it. So
absolutely.
So you're able to then tag them, as your customer, I'm able to tag them and say, okay, well, yeah, they didn't get through for this offer, but we've got a bigger offer next time. And now we know, hey, there's 100,000 people that are interested in this. We can kind of ramp up and plan for maybe 50,000 spots this next time.
Yeah, we've had a brand create. They called it the L Club.
Okay.
It was people who failed, who lost 5 times in a row. Like, we should do something just for those people.
We're just
these poor people.
You're the only ones that get through on this thing. Okay. You're going to win this time. Yeah,
exactly. And you feel like the brand is actually cares.
Right? They
brand
recognize the fact, hey, you've been unlucky 4 or 5 times. Okay, it's time for you to win. You're still,
Absolutely.
If you're coming back 5 times, that means you really want something that we have to offer. And you
exactly. It's the potential VIP again. Like, just try and find something to keep these people engaged and to keep them coming back, because they love the brand. Clearly, they're willing to spend this much time even though they failed. So reward those people.
So who are your typical clients?
So they tend to be streetwear and footwear brands.
Interesting.
We're still early, and we're focused on people who have this model of scarcity, who can build anticipation, who know the drop model and what it can do, but are struggling to run these launches. We do believe this is something that, all kinds of verticals have these same issues. All kinds of different categories have these issues. Maybe you're trying to book like swim meets for your kids, and you set multiple alarms at 9 a.m. on a Monday morning because the process everyone just piles into a process and it's terrible. That's also an opportunity for us to bring some order to that chaos.
Well, it just seems like it makes sense where you're focused right now, because those are models typically where they do a lot of them over and over and over again. Absolutely. So it allows you to hammer out the issues and anticipate some of the problems that you would have. And then from there, I can imagine you can pretty much expand it out anywhere you could go.
Yeah, and live event tickets, that's absolutely something I want to circle back on. It's been with me for a few years now. I feel like it's absolutely a problem we can solve.
Well, it's interesting. I mean, could at some point, I guess you could get in front of the evil empire and try and solve some of their issues, but I don't really know if they care enough to even do it. It's just like, okay, well, we don't care. We have a certain amount of tickets to sell. We don't care if your experience is good or bad, because we'll sell all the tickets and make our money. But I think there is an opportunity at some point for some other player to come into that market. And, there's just too many live events that are out there for just one player to be controlling most of it.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, that's what we were trying with Rival. We were pretty on the nose with the name. Trying to find a way to displace, even for a small number of events initially. But there has to be competition, otherwise things don't move forward.
Well, or you ensure that it's what I love about sometimes our government drives me crazy, because they'll focus on, if these two companies merge together and, it'll be a monopoly. And I'm like, you've got the biggest monopoly out there and you just ignore it like it doesn't exist. And,
and it would be, it's not the most popular company.
No, not so much.
I feel like it wouldn't be.
Apparently, they're writing some big checks to some people in Congress, but
I'm sure. Yeah, I know that, in the UK, in places in Europe, there's been an attempt to try and limit some of the practices that are done by some of these companies. But competition is a great way to try and motivate change. And, if there was some other player out there that provided a much better consumer experience, a much better experience for the artists, for the promoters, for the venues, like it's such a primed market.
It's a no-brainer that, I think so many of the artists that are out there, I mean, they are very concerned about their fans. And I think if you presented them with another option, it'd be a very interesting situation. So talk to me about what kind of the next steps are for you guys as a company at this point.
Yeah, so we're on track this year to kind of raise a seed towards the end of the year.
Got it.
So we got some really interesting stuff coming out in the next month or two. Some stuff that wasn't available to us 12 months ago, some AI powered tooling to bring this to more people. But yeah, to raise a seed, to continue building the team, and to just, as I say, like the focus has been streetwear, footwear, because that's where the people are running these events. But then extending into new categories and different categories that, this model can be really powerful for. But there's no infrastructure to run them, so it just comes with a significant pain. Everyone who tries.
I like this. So what's kind of the end game for you with this? I mean, if you were to look 5-10 years down the road, what does this business look like for you?
I mean, I think my focus has been solving that problem, consumer problem, and for the vendors on the other side of things, like that's been, you know, all of my headspace has been occupied by that. I think if I push it out 5-10 years, I feel like this is such a generally applicable solution. There's so many problems out there where there's this kind of queuing mechanic in place that we can go and push out into. So I definitely see, you know, the expansion into new verticals, expansion into new kind of territories, and expansion into different kinds of experiences, not just online, but in real life experiences. So that's where I see the product going. You know, I love working with incredibly talented people. I feel like it's nourishing to me, and I want to be surrounded by people who are far more exceptional than I am, like at whatever it is they do. And like, I'm excited for that. I'm excited for, you know, building the team and rallying people around these causes. So yeah, I'm excited for that too.
Awesome. Now, how does the model work as far as a client? How am I paying you? How do you get paid in the process?
Yeah, so it's mostly usage based. So we realize this is something where, you know, maybe you have a Black Friday, Cyber Monday offer, and then you're busy through the holidays, and then it calms down a little bit. So we want to make sure that like we're providing a base level value to you around the data that we capture, around all of the information that we're capturing. But also when you go on sale and you have these live events, these huge anticipated launches that we can scale up, and the prices scale up according to your usage.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, I mean, that works well if I typically, you know, if I've got a business that might only sell big in a couple seasons during the year, that's fantastic, where they're not writing you a SaaS, you know, check every month or whatever. They're going to be there, and you're there and can scale up when they need them to, which is fantastic.
Yeah, or if they have an unanticipated viral moment or an issue, right? We're always there. Like we can just scale up to meet that demand as it comes. So you're ready when these things come, because sometimes it's unexpected when you have these, you know, things go on sale. You maybe think 100,000 people turn up and 2 million people show up. That can be a really bad time for you. And we've definitely seen brands like been surprised, happy surprised, and then terror kind of ensues. So yeah, just always ready to meet whatever demand spike comes.
That's awesome. How do your clients typically find you?
They typically find us. Actually, we've been working with agencies.
Interesting.
Who, you know, they help brands orchestrate these kind of launch events and these kind of events. So we found a lot of success through agencies. Through the vendors too. So we are fully integrated into Shopify. Obviously, a lot of streetwear brands, footwear brands are using Shopify underneath and have these issues. So we found a lot of people through Shopify. And then our investor networks have been incredibly helpful. And just the people I've met along the way have been incredibly helpful.
Making those
introductions. You kind of find these. Yeah, there are people out there that are just super connectors. And when you find them, things rapidly accelerate. Just people who are hooked into all of the right people that you need to talk to, and you know, we've built up a fair few of those now.
That's awesome. That's fantastic. Well, let's transition to the fast 5 questions now.
Okay.
All right,
I'm ready.
Okay, so first question: you wake up in the morning, business is gone, you have $500 in your pocket, a laptop, computer, place to live, food and clothing. What do you do for first?
What do I do first? I mean, I think there's still some things I need to take care of outside of business and everything else.
Sure.
I have an Australian Shepherd that needs feeding in the morning. Otherwise, he gets kind of grumpy.
Yeah.
I think, I mean, the tooling is such these days that $500 actually gets you very far.
Yeah.
And I think, I think it would be hitting the whiteboard, thinking about the problems that I see, especially in areas that like we can quickly get traction and make a difference. Think about the people I know and the skills I have and how I may be able to solve those and reach the right people through the network I have. And then just start building.
Okay.
Like start, and after having those conversations, just start building. I think it's I'm amazed, especially over the last few months, the pace of development and how quickly things can be put together. Like reasonably high quality things can be put together. I'm not sure where this is going to be in 12 months from now, but I think
it's obviously going to continue to grow like crazy. I mean, I talk to people that have companies where, they used to have to hire coders and everything else. And with AI, I mean, they can have one person do the job of what 10 people were doing before.
Yeah. I mean, even internally, like we have internal tools now that like you wouldn't do this if you were, trying to keep costs low and we keep things moving. But we have a marketing tool that we've built internally that produces images that go along with collateral that we're putting out.
Nice.
And that was something that we just put together over an afternoon. It saves us enormous amounts of time, but like this is a general solution to a problem that people have.
Yeah.
And there's so many of those niche problems that people have that now they can solve without having to bring on a full team of engineers or like a full team of people to do these things. So it's interesting times for sure. And I would say like those niche problems that people have that you probably wouldn't spin up a whole team around. You can take those things on now.
Yeah.
So I would definitely recommend people learning the tools available to them, getting up to speed, and then thinking about those niche problems that they probably see, 7 or 8 times a day that no one is really solving. There's probably a generic platform out there that solves it terribly. Like maybe that's something
improve upon that generic platform and
it's maybe not $1 billion problem, but it's maybe it's a few $100,000 problem. And if you have enough of those, like you're in a good place. So
absolutely,
there's definitely a big opportunity.
Absolutely. What's the biggest business mistake you've ever made?
Biggest business mistake. I mean, I think maybe not doing this sooner.
Okay.
Actually.
Yep.
I think, especially with the pandemic, I think there was a huge opportunity here, and I was probably a few months, maybe a year and a half, too late on capturing some of that market in early pandemic.
Yeah.
And I saw it. I mean, that's where some of my frustration came from as a consumer, was seeing all of these queues be set up around grocery stores and vaccinations and all kinds of things that, people wanted access to that they just couldn't get access to. So I think I was slow in kind of trusting myself and taking the plunge. So I think that actually is probably the biggest mistake.
Yeah. And I mean, I think for most of us, I mean, I've interviewed a few people that, were founders right out of high school or right out of college or whatever, but most of us, it takes a while. It takes a while to come to it, and quite frankly, for me, before I made that jump, it was financially not feasible for me. I knew that it was going to be a tough slog, and it wasn't until things just really came unglued with a company I was working for. And I said, I just don't care anymore. And I'm ready to, I'd rather live in a car than work for these people anymore. That was that moment. You had to have that inflection moment. But, I mean, you're here now, and it sounds. I mean, fortunately, you also got dropped into a world where I think technology is moving so fast now that you've really got to, you've got to jump on board and ride the wave while you can. So
Yeah, and I think that's always
yeah.
true. I think that's, like you build up your knowledge, your chops,
Mm-hmm.
to prepare
Yep.
yourself for a wave and like catching that wave. Like that's your opportunity, just to, when things change, like
I need
it's
to be there.
disruptive.
Yeah.
But yeah, you should put yourself in
Yeah.
front of that. And I see that with, the wave that's happening right now.
Mm.
I think there's enormous change coming. But there's always going to be like that moment that you can capitalize on that, and
Yeah.
you can take that opportunity. So
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
Love it. Love it. What's a good book that you'd recommend for our audience?
Uh, I uh, I read the Mom Test when I started this.
Interesting.
It's a book about it's a book about like actually getting through reasonable. Sorry, let me start that again. It's a way of getting feedback from customers that is based in, no, it's removing the ego from it,
Okay.
and removing anything that can bias you towards making incorrect choices when you have a conversation
Okay.
with potential customers or with customers.
Mm.
Like the mom test is, saying like, if you were to ask your mom this, whether this is a good idea or not, like, would she try and, fluff ego? Would she like move you in a direction that's not entirely valid, or would you be given like solid feedback that's going to challenge you?
Or in
So
my mom's case, brutal feedback that
same.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly that. You want that in the early stages. You
Yeah.
need that in the early stages. People like to, you know they don't like seeing people sad and
Yeah.
upset. And if you've clearly invested time and effort in a thing,
Mm-hmm.
and you're talking to someone, like they're more likely to kind of placate and go
Yeah.
along, and that's not helpful. Like
Yep.
you actually want people to pressure test your
Mm-hmm.
ideas, think about the things that you've not thought about, and,
Yeah.
and really push you on it.
Well, and I think
So
you've got
that's,
it,
I think,
and it sounds like you've had this. You've had a group of people around you that can give you that just straight up feedback. I don't want BS. I don't want you to, pat me on the back and say I'm the smartest person in the room, because I'm not. I need people that are going to go, yeah, well, what about this? What about that?
yeah, I think about people through my
Mhm.
career where, maybe there's some, PTSD there. Maybe there's, when I think about those people, the little worry lines start
Yeah.
to come onto my face. But like, those are the people who probably motivated
Yeah.
me to change the most quickly.
Yeah.
Like I learned the most from these
Yeah.
people. It was hard
Yeah.
working with them
It's
sometimes.
hard and it doesn't feel
Uh,
good, but you know what? Those are the people that make you,
yeah,
yeah, they push you that extra bit harder, and I think when you get that, it takes a while. I mean, you have to look back a couple years to realize that happened, but I
yeah,
thank
yeah,
God for those people in my life that just, they were brutally honest about it, and I'm that way with people I know. I mean, I'm brutally honest, and if you don't want the honest answer, don't ask me, because you're gonna get it.
there you
Yeah.
go. Yeah, and I feel like way about failures
Okay.
too. Like, if things go well always
Hmm.
for you, like I'm not sure you've really
Nope.
learned a valuable set of lessons there. I feel like when you fail
Mhm.
and you have to pick yourself back
Yeah.
up again, like that comes with some significant, learnings there, some scar tissue there,
Mhm.
that like to never do that
Yeah.
again. Or like if you really take something from those failures, like that's how you
Mhm.
grow. So yeah, definitely.
That's awesome. What's a tool that you use in your business that you might recommend?
So I mean, AI is everywhere.
Mhm.
And I'm a software engineer by training, so this has kind of been an interesting 12 months for me. Um, I I highly recommend. I'm using speech to text everywhere
Nice.
now. So I'm using this tool called Whisperflow. There's a few out
Yeah.
there that are very similar. Um, but I mean, you can probably see there's a bunch of keyboards
Mhm.
sat behind me right now, and I pretty much just use one key just to turn the microphone on.
Okay.
And I use it for getting ideas out
Mhm.
when I'm going for a walk. I use it to rub a duck, to go through like anything really. I will just get out of my head and
Mhm.
down somewhere, and it's been an incredible tool for that. I mean, I'm a strong whiteboarder. I have whiteboards all over my house, just as a more of a physical thing.
Yeah.
And I think just getting a group of people together to noodle on something on a whiteboard, like people, I'm personally more visual
Yep.
than textual, so it's really helpful, but to like map things out for me and to draw things out. So again, like that's not very maybe a technological
Doesn't
solution,
matter.
and
Yeah.
then a very much
Sometimes,
a
yeah. I mean,
non-technical.
yeah. When you work in the technological world, I mean, I work in the finance field, and for me, that's a lot of times when I'm sitting down with a client, I'm very visual. So yes, you would think I'm in the finance business, I'd be a numbers guy, but I'm like, I'm a visual guy, and I like to show people from a visual perspective because I find most people are, and they understand it from a picture perspective. Okay, this is how this all fits together. So they laugh because we've got them all around our office, and I just keep kind of wandering around all day writing on whiteboards as I go. So
Yeah, it took me longer than I'd care to admit to just realize that I was such a visual person. Like, I think I was just trying to force myself as a software engineer.
have
I
to
should
do
be
this
more
from
exactly.
Yeah.
But actually, just drawing things
Yeah.
out just really helps.
Well,
like,
but
solidify
then it's
with
like,
me.
okay, now I can take that visual image and I know what it looks like. So now I just need to make it look that way, which I think is much easier than trying to go from a bunch of numbers or code to something. I think it makes much, much more sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I would say finally, just the AI tooling.
Uh,
I have Claude accounts. I have
Yep.
Codex accounts. I highly recommend people just grab them just to see what they're capable of, see where they fall down,
Yeah.
see how they evolve over the next few
Well, and
months.
I mean, it's funny because I've written a ton of books, and I typically use AI to kind of help flesh a lot of the books out and things like that. And I took about a year off and went back, and I had a writing project that I was like, I got to get this thing done. And I went back to Claude because I really like it for a writing tool. And I was shocked with this new version of Sonnet. I mean, it's unbelievably good.
Yeah,
It's moved
yeah,
so fast at this point that
yeah, we use it. I mean, especially for internal tooling, things that you wouldn't necessarily dedicate time
yeah,
to. It's great to just fix those
yeah.
things, or go in and just try and like put some sanity around something that's started to get chaotic.
Yeah.
Like, just it's a good way of just kind of testing the waters with these things. Because I feel like people who can wield these tools the most effectively are going to be like definitely have an advantage over the next few months.
And I find in a lot of cases too, as I use them, and I use multiple tools for different purposes. I find each of them kind of has its own unique thing in my life, as a sounding board, because a lot of times I'm working independently. I don't really have a team in a lot of the stuff that I'm working on. And so having the ability to almost have that counterparty to me, and, you have to, I think in some cases you have to kind of train it to, okay, be blunt. I need you to, don't placate me. I don't need you to, oh, Jeff, this is the greatest idea ever. I need you to give me, solid feedback on it. And when I've gotten it to do that, it's a phenomenal tool as a partner, basically to get some of that stuff done.
Yeah, I've always been a strong proponent of rubber ducking, of just like talking your ideas through to just an object. But like you say, having an object that's happy just to give you critical feedback on the other side of that is really, really helpful.
And as a founder, willing to work weird hours is always a good thing. So when we have those ideas that pop up, it's like, hey, I need to get this out to somebody right now.
Stop calling me at 3 in the
exactly.
morning.
Stop when you come up and wake up in the middle of the night. Just go to the AI thing. It's always awake.
That's right.
Okay.
I mean, I have family in the UK that makes that a
that's
little
perfect.
easier.
Yeah,
I can just call them at random times.
yeah, it's mid-morning for them, so they're happy to answer your question. But yeah,
Yeah, I mean, they definitely reciprocate
Yeah.
that though, which is not
Yeah.
not all that helpful.
What's your definition of freedom?
I think freedom is the ability to take risks,
Mm.
to have complete autonomy,
Mm.
you know, to solve a problem as you want to solve it, not how it's been, you know, mandated that you solve
Yeah.
it. I think that's freedom to me, like waking up, having interesting things to work on, having interesting things to do, having the autonomy to do that, and feeling risk free. Like I can dedicate myself to this without,
Mm.
you know, constantly encroaching thoughts about other
Yeah.
things. I think that's complete freedom
I
to me.
love that. Fantastic. Well, you picked the right job to do it then.
No, I'm still, well, yeah. I mean, sometimes the encroaching thoughts,
Well, yeah.
you know, go along with the 3 a.m.
Yeah, that's all right.
wake up calls,
Yeah.
but we'll get there.
Yeah. Well, and like I said, I mean, it's tough being a founder at the beginning, but it's so worth it in the end when you've built that thing that you had in your brain, and it solves the problem that you intended it to solve.
Yeah, and I think that autonomy part is
Mm.
such a big thing for me. I think that's how I, you know, through the tour of company sizes, landing back at a startup
Yep.
gets you closer to that. Like you're in front of customers, you're solving their problems, you're feeling their pain, and you're able to solve them
Mm.
in the best way
Yeah.
possible. And you're learning so much through that journey too. So that's yeah, that's the most important thing for me. And yeah, startups absolutely give you that.
Mm. Outstanding. If somebody's interested in learning more about what you do and what Fanfare is doing and everything else, where's the best place to find out?
I mean, you can always find me on
Okay.
LinkedIn for my sins if you want to grab any of my time to talk about this stuff. I'm always there. Fanfare.io is the place that you can
Okay.
find out what we do. We've got case studies and interesting customer tidbits and upcoming drop calendars too
Nice.
on there. So you can always see what's going on in the industry
Mm.
and some critique of some of the drops that we see along the way.
I love it. Well, Michael, thank you for being on the show today. I really appreciate it. It was a fun conversation to learn about what you're doing. And I wish you great luck with this because I think you are solving a major problem that
I appreciate
we're continuing. I think we'll continue to see as more and more companies are using, especially that kind of drop model and, you know, that scarcity model. I mean, I think you've got to fix the problem, and I think you've got a fix for it.
I appreciate that. Thank
Perfect.
you. Thank you.
Well, folks, as always, make sure that you subscribe to the channel. Make sure that you give us an upvote when you can. And we will see you guys back here the very next time.